I'm back with my right-hand man, Mr. Sam White, and then Mr. Patrick Carpenter. If you guys knew the hoops that we have had to jump through to coordinate this is what happens when you guys start winning, and then everybody's becoming like a full-fledged entrepreneur, and then everybody's schedule gets busy, and then you're trying to coordinate 3 different entrepreneurs' schedules all at once. It takes an act of Congress to get everybody together on one screen at one time. But I got my man Sam White. Shout out to Sam White. He's been killing it. He's living in a new apartment now because he's been going crazy. And then we have a very, very special guest. Probably, if I had to say, in terms of like the number of contracts won in a certain time period, probably our most successful student that we've had, because there's a bunch of different metrics: the students who win really fast, the students who make a lot of money, the students who win their first contract in the shortest amount of time. But if we were to just take like the metric of like, 90 days, like who's winning the most contracts, who's starting from zero, like coming to us from zero, it's got to be Patrick. So Patrick, the floor is yours. Why don't you introduce yourself, tell the people a little bit about you?
Well, how everybody doing? I'm Pat. I don't really have a lot to say, but thank you, Day. Thank your team. I was literally sitting at home one day, just getting off of work, and I don't know how this happened, but your YouTube just popped up on it. This is March of last year. Just randomly popped up. I've never heard of government contracting, never was even involved in it, and it just popped up. So I was like, let me see what this is about. And it's kind of been like that since, honestly. Yeah, I just
You
kind of
just watched the video and then you were like, all right, we're hopping in.
yeah,
Like this is it. This is the method.
yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you. So with my job at the time, man, they was just kind of being funny with me, and I just kind of made my mind up. I was like, man, this will be the last job I allow anybody to play with my livelihood. I'm not gonna play this game no more. So I stopped working in March of last year, and I mean, I don't work now. This is what I do now, but
Yeah.
uh, yeah,
And for
I've been
context, people can know what's transpired for you this year as like a brand new person who's also profitable, because we were not, for context, everybody, Two Lines Aerospace was not profitable for a long time. But so everybody has context. How many contracts are you up to just in 2025 alone on like March?
so this year I'm at 24 awarded contracts. So it
There
was
you go.
11 in January, 10 in February, and 3 this month. So on average, I'm doing about 10 a month now.
10 con
And
that's
yeah,
those are the numbers that we talk about. We're like, yo, if you submit this many bids, you get to 10 contracts a month, all you gotta do is just rinse and repeat, and those 10 contracts keeps the lights on, and then eventually it's like, shit, I'm doing more than keeping the lights on. I gotta get somebody to help me out with this thing.
I don't know, seriously, like even today I got like 4 emails, 4 different contracted officers all asking the same thing. Just extend the quote.
Mhm.
Extend the quote by tomorrow, extend the quote by Friday, just extend the quote and just go from there. So now it's getting to the point where I'm kind of expecting to win about 8 to 10 a month where I'm at now. So,
That's a nice spot to be in. That's a nice spot to be in. For context, Pat, what were you doing before you got into this?
so I was a manager. I was a bartender. I was a mixologist.
So
Ah,
very different.
Yes,
You didn't
yeah.
come
So
into this with like another business you were running. Like you had all the qualities. Like you were doing something completely different.
I was a mixologist. I ran a cigar lounge where I was one of the managers for. Y'all probably heard of Burn by Rocky Patel. They got one in Naples. They got one in Atlanta, one in Pittsburgh, one in Indy, and one somewhere else. I can't remember, but I was working there for running that for about a year or so.
got you,
Nice, man.
got you.
Anybody want
Nice.
any little tad bit of information? There's some good money bartending if you go to the right places. I
There is
promise.
good money bartending, but you can
It's
make good
good
money
money.
bartending. You can clean house if
You
you're
can
if
clean
you're a
up.
good bartender. But
And then it was good timing. So it was kind of funny. So I was doing that and looking at doing this, and it was just like, well, I'm only working 5 hours a day, maybe 3 days a week. I had a lot of free time, so I kind of just veered over to this side of it, and I'm kind of glad I did, honestly.
Do you remember what you watched specifically? Because we have like 140 videos out. Do you remember what
Because
specifically?
since I know this is going out publicly, it was quite a few other people that I had watched that was just on some con artist gimmicky, let me sell a dream
Mm.
type of YouTubing. Like you can just come over here and you don't have to have no skill sets, you don't have to have no history, and you can just win with this program. And I was watching yours, and what's my guy from 305?
Well, Richard.
Richard, yeah. So shout out to Richard, man. He came through. Hey, thank you for it. Richard came through. Richard, right on, man. You really came through for that order of mine. But yeah, I watched that and like you just made it clear. You was like, hey, just put your cage code out there. Let's stop all the gimmicks. Let's not go through what you're winning and all that. Here's my cage code. You can see what I've been awarded. And when you said that, you go to all these other gurus and you just started looking and it's like, well, man, this sounds good, but what's your cage code? Let me see what you've been awarded while you think you're becoming a teacher.
Yeah.
So then after that, and you, like I said, it don't take long to sift through it. It don't take long to
Mm,
sift through it. So then
mm.
after that, man, it was just you, man. So um, I got the program from you in August.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the August program, and I didn't start submitting bids. I want to say until like the middle of end of September.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, yeah, you
Yeah.
started like towards like Q4 of last year.
Yes.
I remember.
Yes. Yeah. And
Mm.
yes, I've been kind of going with it because what happened was in October I won like 6 contracts in
I
1 month.
remember that. I remember
Yes. So like it was just so within my first 40 days I was already like at 6 contracts awarded.
within
It's
yeah
insane.
40
Yeah,
days
like
to
so like
contract. I
it would.
remember because I had like a group meeting or something, and then you had I know everybody who signs up because I text all of them, and
Yeah.
Sam gives me like the scoop on everybody, so I keep tabs on everybody. But then you came across my radar, and I was like, "Yo, this dude is cleaning house right now. Like I gotta go what Patrick's got going on." So he had 6 in his first 40 days, and that was just Q4 of last year. So then I was like, okay, let me go see like what he's got going on. And then to be honest, you like everybody knows if you need to ask me a question, you can. You can text me, you can email me, I'll get back to you. But you didn't really ask me any questions, so I was like, damn,
So
he got it going on over there. He doesn't
so
do
let
anything.
me tell you, I actually thought it's gonna sound crazy. This was part of your teaching. It was more like, hey, you got to at least kind of figure this out, man. You want to be an entrepreneur, you need to go out here and you're gonna have to put in the work. It's gonna take you some extra time to figure it out, but put on your thinking cap and go to work. So I'm a
Yeah.
big avid reader, so I got a lot of books that I like to read, and I got a book right now through HBR, Harvard Business Review.
Uh-huh.
It's
uh-huh.
critical thinking.
Okay.
And it's a great book for you to really kind of step back and look at like what you're doing and understanding that there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. You
Mm,
know, like it's a lot of ways you can attack the same problem, and not every problem that I'm facing requires like some type of instant fix. I need to go out here and do some work. That's really what it is. I got to work, and that's how I
mm.
took it. Day honestly, I just took it that hey, he's like, nah, man, you need to go figure it out. So I did. I appreciate that. I don't think you understand.
Yeah.
I appreciate that though.
That's
I'm
real.
I'm glad you
That's
brought that up though. I'm glad you brought that up though, Pat. Like especially when you mentioned um like there's a lot of people selling dreams and things like that. Like when people reach out to work with us, I like to I actively manage expectations and say like this is a real like business you're starting. You have to be prepared. And a lot of people I think perhaps right now we're in a similar position to where you were back when you were just finishing at your bartending job, like trying to make that transition from just working a job, like you weren't running another business, you were just working a job, to becoming a full-time business owner. That is a tough transition for a lot of people. But like for you, what advice could you give to those, not necessarily just specifically about government contracting, but just specifically about bridging that gap, becoming a full-time business owner, what advice would you say for people, like what they need, maybe from a mental standpoint, to make that a reality for them?
I would say mental toughness.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
would probably say that is probably the biggest component that you're going to need. You're going to have to be mentally strong enough and almost delusional enough to believe that it's going to work, and almost to the point you have to convince yourself, "Hey, this has to work." This is what I told myself. So
Yeah.
I don't have a job now, so it's not like I have all this money coming in. So I told myself, "Hey, Pat, this has to work." And if
Mhm.
it doesn't, the worst thing that can happen is I go get a job.
Mm.
The worst thing that
Job's
happens
not
is you
going
go back to
anywhere.
the life that you were used to before you started, but you might as well try. You might as well
Mm.
try.
So
That's
that's
so
what I would
true.
say. I would say mental toughness. I mean, understanding that. I mean, I don't know. Most people may not believe, but I mean, I did weeks of doing 12 to 14 hours a day, going through solicitations, reading them. Like I said, learning how to read the contract, learning how to read the solicitation, learning the product markets, learning what companies delivers or provides these products. So I mean, I don't know. After we a couple of hundred hours in, now it's got cakewalk. Now this, I'll be honest with you. If I was to be
Mm.
completely transparent, I only bid on Friday and Saturday evenings. I don't do all that bidding. I don't even go that far.
Really, you just 2 days a
Mhm.
week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to do it. I mean, I've kind of created a system that kind of facilitates me being able to do this. So my overall goal was the 4 hour workday. Sounds crazy.
No, I
That's
believe it. I believe in it.
that's how the business ideal or me starting a business started. I said, hey, if I'm sleeping for 8 hours, that's 16 hours. I'll give a job 4, but outside of that, the other 12 is mine. So
I know that's right.
that's kind of how the premise of me starting this business went. And I'm not there yet. Don't get me wrong. I'm not there yet because I spend more time responding to emails, providing traceability, uh, talking to vendors, trying to negotiate better
But
pricing.
now
And
you got to get an assistant. Now you got to get an assistant and duplicate yourself and remove yourself from the game. And this is just a pro gamer tip.
yeah,
Go get you a VA. Go get you a virtual assistant. You're gonna have to probably spend the first 2 weeks training her, and it's gonna be more time than you would in your normal day. But then after those 2 weeks, all the mundane stuff like the data entry, the admin stuff that anybody can do, you don't have to
yeah.
do. So then your 4 hour workday consists of only the things that only Patrick can do. So all the business development of like calling people that only Patrick can do, that's how you cut down to your 4 hour workday. But the stuff that's admin stuff or looking and finding solicitation, you could train somebody to go do that. You don't need to be doing that. You need to
I
go
agree.
do the BD stuff, the business development stuff. That's how you cut your workday in half.
And I agree. And I've been saying, I said, I think I'll be honest with you. I don't even like doing the admin stuff. I don't like doing it. Like, I
Most
understand that.
most You know what's funny? There was a study done, and my mom was reading it to us in the office to all the other government salespeople as we were getting ready to leave, and she was like, most people in business, like most entrepreneurs, they're split, right? The people that like to do like the nitty gritty, like micro stuff, and then the people that like to do the macro stuff, like the business development stuff, go find new accounts, stuff like that, like right now this software that I'm developing, that's very macro, but like the micro stuff is a whole other subset of things. And there's a overwhelming correlation that most men do not like to do the admin stuff, and the women love to do the bookkeeping. They love to
Dude,
get down in the numbers, and I was
that
like, that makes
adding
complete sense.
information to Zoho, and I'm like, oh my god, now I got to create the vendor, create the product number, create the quantity, create. Oh, I'm like, I ain't gonna lie, that to me is probably the worst part of all of it. Everything else is so much to me easier to deal with than that little tedious and where I got the product from, at the email, at the
You got to
yeah.
get an assistant, bro. You got to get an assistant.
I'm getting there. Like now, like I said, now, like after, like I've been awarded, I believe, almost 40 contracts since I've been doing this. So as of now, like I'm probably at a percentage wise profitably to say, okay, maybe I probably can start looking at something like that. I mean, like you said, the virtual assistant.
Profitable after 6 months, and you got 40 contracts in 6 months. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, you guys like Pat. Before we got on the call, guys, Patrick was like, "Oh, I bid on something, and then I saw that I lost it to Two Lions Aerospace, and then
I was so sad.
he was giving me shit about it." But Two Lions Aerospace, if you would have, there was not a universe in which in our first 6 months we would have been profitable and had 40 contracts underneath our belt. We used to get excited and ring our bell. We have a cowbell in the office just when we would submit a bid. That's where we came from. So the fact that like you guys are leaps and bounds ahead of where we were when you take like the same time frame, like don't even worry about it. You guys will get there and probably surpass us, kind of thing.
I know, but like you, the examples that you gave us, and I tried everything. And like I said, I like to create a system. So, transparency. The last 3 months, December, January, February, I did what you told us to do in the video back in October. You said, look, if you can't do 20 bids, do 5 bids a day. That's what I did. I said, I'll just try it. I want to see the numbers, is what I want to see, because this is a numbers game. It's not about um, how good of a deal you can get on the contract, is how many contracts you're bidding. And so that's 35 contracts bidded a week. That's 150 a month. So that's basically 5 and 30. They give you 150. So from December, January, and February, just 150 contracts is all I bid on. I'm winning like 10. So I guess that's at 15%, I guess, or whatever the math is.
It's
that
like
I'm
7%.
winning.
It's like 7-ish
Yeah, no,
percent.
but yeah, seven, yeah,
But we
like
tell
7.
people it's a 5 to 10% success
Yeah.
rate in the beginning when you don't
Yeah.
when you're a brand new company. That's what the numbers are. And we tell you guys, like, listen, if you hit these metrics, we guarantee you will get these results within that 45-day period. So
So like so
men lie,
now,
women lie, numbers don't.
no, they don't. So like now I'm kind of focusing on different FFCs. So like I was telling you before we recorded, that I've won a contract or awarded a contract in 10 different FFC companies. So now I need to work on another 10 while I already have these going the way that they're going. So I'm just kind of interested to see, once I amp it up to 10 bids, to see how that changes the winning percentage for me. So
Yeah, and you'll have that past performance, and they'll know who you are, so it'll be a lot easier for you to differentiate yourself in those markets. But we've been yapping. I gotta let Sam do the thing. I always say I'm gonna let Sam moderate, and then I just come and I just
Nah,
start like
it's all
I
good.
just
It's all good.
start playing like mouth music.
No, it's all good. But what I like though about your journey, Pat, like, it's a clear example of the fact like there's no secret sauce. Like whether you work with us or you get a coach or you want extra help or whatever it is, you have to, the bare minimum, you have to be in the game. You have to play. And you play by consistently putting up your numbers, putting in your bids. And you're a prime example of like you came in and we didn't really even hear from you too much. You didn't really ask too many questions. You just got on with it. And like we don't advise that, by the way. Guys, like, use us if you work with
like
us, like, please do work with us. But you just took the process and you just followed it.
so if I had got in touch with you guys, I probably would have avoided a lot of these speed bumps. So like I got awarded maybe about, so today is fine. But in the beginning, even some part of the last year, I was getting awarded contracts, and the contracts I wasn't really reading them. And what I mean by reading them, the actual packaging setup, and it's understanding the material, the cushioning, the wrap, and all of that. So I'm bidding, winning contracts. I'm winning them, and now I got to buy material. And this material isn't cheap. I didn't know that when I bidded on that contract.
Hmm.
I didn't realize until after I wanted that, oh, this is a requirement of this contract.
I
So
feel you. I feel you.
learning to read the contract, and another tad bit that I want to say, just because it's a commercial off the shelf doesn't mean they're not going to ask for traceability.
Oh yeah, yeah. A lot
I
of people
can
think the commercial off the shelf stuff is like a freebie, which is easier than the other stuff.
see, yeah,
But you pretty much get a freebie on the packaging and where you're buying it from, but that doesn't mean that they're just gonna let you slide right through the door kind of
yeah,
thing.
because I've been awarded a contract that was commercial, and I'm thinking like, well, hell, I mean, it's saying it's at Amazon, Walmart, bought it, told the contracting officer, said, "No, we got to do administrative counseling of the contract." Even though it's a commercial off the shelf on the
Yeah, they
contract,
still might have to send it to the product. They might have to send it to the product material. Or I'm sorry, the what's it called? The product specialist. The product specialist. They might still have to send it to the product specialist and let them evaluate it and determine if it's good. But we've been going on about a lot of technical stuff. Sam, what do you have next for us on the agenda?
I'm just no, I find Patrick's journey unique, especially to do so much without like too much outside support. Like you just went through the material, you just grabbed hold of the process and just followed it meticulously. But like for anyone who's, I guess, getting into the DLA space from from the start, they're kind of figuring it out, trying to navigate their way through the space. What would you share with those people who are perhaps where you were back in August time?
um, take your time on what you want to accomplish each day. Let me say that because you will find yourself trying to do 40 different things in the beginning. Like, I want to bid, I want
Mm,
to get a quote, I want to do this, I want to do that. And you're just going to overwhelm yourself. So I would say that what I did was that I just kind of, I got a dry eraser board. So I just kind of wrote on the board, okay, I'm starting time right here. And I had to train my brain to be able to sit and focus long
mm,
enough for it to become productive. So I would tell most people honestly is to pick one part of it. Don't overwhelm yourself with trying to do all of it in one day. One day, do just quotes. Don't even worry about the bids. The contracts are still there. Next
mm,
day, if you got the quotes, okay. If not, man, get some more quotes. And then just pick a day to bid. Don't get the quote and bid and feel like that you're going to miss out on this contract. The contracts ain't going nowhere. So when I said that
mm,
I do it on Friday and Saturday, I've gotten to the point with the contracts of the FFC codes that I'm only doing the fast paid ones now because I've already bidded on all the ones that were sitting there. So
Mm-hmm.
the only ones I
Mm-hmm.
can bid on are the newer ones. So that's why I said by Friday, if the contract came out this Monday, it'll still be there Friday and Saturday. So I
Gotcha.
pick Friday and Saturday to do my bidding. So the
yeah,
rest of the week I can focus on other things, but not try to do all of it in one day. And like I
yeah,
said, just mentally understand that if it's something you're just starting, give yourself grace. I'm telling
mm,
you, like you may want to do it, but your brain may not be capable at this time.
At that moment in
At
time.
mm,
that moment, you're going to build
mm,
up your reserves and you're going to look up. And I'm telling you, I look up and I'm like, man, I've been here for 6 hours straight. So let me go get something to eat. Like, because
I
now
I
mm,
was reading a Tony Robbins book, and he was like, the path to becoming greatness is not you get on the racetrack and then you immediately start driving like a Formula One car. It's more so like you get on the racetrack, you want to drive like a Formula One car, but you're like a Volkswagen. And then after a couple of
yeah,
laps, you get more proficient. Now
right,
maybe you go from like a four cylinder to okay, maybe I'm a V6, and maybe I got like an extra 20 30 horsepower after like a couple laps around the track. And then after a couple more, then one day you look up and you're like, damn, I'm 12 cylinders. I got 1,000 horsepower, and like I trained myself to do that kind of thing. But you can't you can't be in a Volkswagen state of mind asking your body and your mind to give you a Ferrari performance, if that makes
right,
sense. Like
right, right.
you gotta
No, right.
work your way up. You gotta work your way up to that, and you gotta build that mental endurance and that discipline to be able to sit in front of the computer or work the phones for 2 3 hours a day or reply to emails for 3 4 hours a day straight up kind of thing. So I think that those are two really good points. Is focus on what it is that you're trying to achieve for that day. And
mm.
I be doing the I do the same thing. I write down my goals all day. I've been writing them down for the last. There you go.
I do the same thing. Like, man,
Uh,
you just need to write this stuff down. I don't leave anything for guesswork. I have my dry erasure board on the wall.
There you
I
go.
have everything that I need. It's there. I know what I'm doing tomorrow. So tonight, I'm gonna have everything that I'm doing tomorrow on there.
Boom. There you go.
That's
There you
it.
go.
I
Yeah.
make it so easy.
There's no secret sauce,
Yeah.
like Sam said, guys. Like if you write down your goals and you write down what are the actionable things I need to do today, knock those things out, and then say what are the actionable things I need to do tomorrow. You do that for 6 months, you're gonna wake up and you're like, damn, I'm in a completely different spot today than I was six
Yeah.
months ago.
And it's funny, it's like it doesn't matter whether you're going into the DLA space or you're starting, you're training for a marathon day. Like no matter any like endeavor, the fundamentals are usually the same 9 times out of 10.
It's all the same.
Um,
It's just
Yeah,
be consistent. It's all the
it's just yeah, it's just a more of a mental battle. But I like your points there, Pat, because like when we speak to people, when we look at their business and like whether they literally just incorporated their LLC or whether they've been in business for 5 years or already won 10 contracts, whatever it might be, when we look under the hood, 9 times out of 10, they're just a bit sporadic. They're just a bit all over the place because it's so easy to be over here and over there in this game. Whereas like a lot of the time when we look at it, it's like, okay, we just need to make this more efficient. We just need to make this more streamlined. So you know what you're doing on this day, you know what your numbers are, you know what your metrics are, so that you can just be turning up, rinse and repeat. And if you do that for a long enough timeline, you will get there.
and I just want to say, like, I'm going to say, like I said, I am now like this year. Now it's becoming profitable. Now it's starting to
Mm,
actually get to the point where I see what I'm bidding, and I'm about to create some actual cue cards, and I'm gonna put them on top of my desktop right here, and it's just gonna show me the price of all the material needed for each contract. So when I see it and it's saying preservation method 41, okay, I know that this is going to cost this amount. How many pieces of it? Okay, it needs this type of cushion. This cushion costs this, and I will be able to really gauge it and say, okay, the material cost for this contract is going to be this. Okay, so outside of that, this is what I'm bidding. And like I said, like, and I'll be honest, I still haven't. I'm like, I got to go get my business taxes in. I mean, I'm
You
leaving
got,
money on
yeah,
the
you got to
table.
get on that. You got to go get that tax exemption. It's not a requirement, but shit, you leaving some money on the
I
table.
know.
But in terms of somebody who's like looking to get, or let's start with this. What were your biggest concerns? One, before you got started doing business with DLA, and then two, before you started working with us.
Biggest concerns was let me see.
I'll take it if you didn't have any. If you just
I'll be honest. I
thought
don't
we
think
were that
no,
good,
like
I'll take it.
I'll be honest. Like I have a unique like knack for like anything I've ever put my mind to. It always works. It doesn't matter. That's let me just tell you that it sounds crazy, but I think everybody has that knack. You just got to put your mind to.
yeah.
So
Outside of like doing business with, Sam and services, do you have any concerns doing business with DLA or doing business with us specifically?
no, I mean you guys have been pretty good. I mean you gave me everything. Like I don't like I just I don't know if I can stress this enough. Like you gave us everything in those videos. You gave us everything that was going to be needed to succeed in this endeavor. So I took it, I watched it. I didn't watch it all at one time. I kind of went through a process where got to the part where I was bidding. So I went to the bidding part. I got to the process where I was
Mm,
going to pie and off. I went to the pie and walk part. I got to the process when I was doing the VMS. Then I went to that part. I got to the part of the packaging. Went to that part. So I didn't watch it in full. I just kind of went through it, and I just kind of tried to absorb every piece of the step. But once I completed the whole process, that's when it just kind of went like, oh, okay, now I got it. Now
mm.
this is easy. And but no, I don't know. I don't know, man. I think you guys are doing a great job. I don't know what
I'll
more.
take it. If you had no concerns, I'll
Yeah,
take it.
I don't know what
Yeah.
more you guys can do. I mean, I don't. I mean, but I think my situation may be different than other people's though, so that may affect how I'm winning or what I'm bidding on. So like I will bid on a contract, it could be 50, 60K. And
Mm,
maybe most people can't bid on those type of contracts. So it may be different on the amount of contracts I can bid on
I feel, yeah.
compared
Yeah.
to other people. So like I can say, so it may be just a difference on that end. But nah, man, you gave us everything. I'm telling you that
Appreciate
you gave us everything we needed to make this work. You really just have to put your head down and just say, "Hey, I'm going to,
it.
like you said, win, rinse, repeat, win, rinse, repeat, and just keep it going. And just keep it going because it works. I'm telling you, your process works. There was nothing extra I needed. I didn't need to go look at somebody else's YouTube or something. Your videos had everything from A to Z to succeed in this. And like you said, if they want to reach out to you, dude, I just hit you up on Instagram. Do. Let me just. I don't even have Dave's number. Let me just hit him on Instagram. Reply back to me, no problem.
Mhm.
So, that Dave, you
Appreciate
got it.
But
that.
You really got it.
but I think
I-
I think just to add to that, Pat, like you may be in a slightly different position of where like you may have won more contracts because you can bid on more, but your
Mhm.
process will largely be the same to anyone starting at any level. And I
Yes.
think what stands out for me and why the reason you're sat here now is because you believed in yourself and you didn't deviate from the plan. You stuck to the plan and you saw it through. Like that's the biggest takeaways for me.
This had to work.
Mm,
That's how I felt about it. This had to work. It
yeah,
was not going to be any ifs, ands, or buts. This has to work. And I'm going to do
mm,
everything required to make it work. I'm not going to cut any
yeah,
corners. I'm not going to sit over here and pout about how things are going. We had the contract I told you about. I had to give it back. I was sick last month because I'm like, man, I got a contract that I got to give back because the manufacturer wouldn't sell it to me. And
mm,
I was just kind of like, man, I'm gonna have this ding on my Spurs score.
Spurs.
Yeah, so I was concerned. So I ain't gonna win no more. And nope, it didn't stop nothing.
Well, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, you had already performed favorably on a bunch that it doesn't make too much of a it doesn't make too much of a difference. Like nowadays, we might win 7, 8 contracts in a day, and like we might just have to cancel. We probably realistically we probably have to cancel 2 to 3 contracts a week. But like you get to a point where you're winning like 7, 8 a day in the grand scheme of things. It's like okay, shit, we won 50 contracts this week. We got to cancel like 6% of them. Okay, fuck it, whatever. But when you're at that level that you were at when you're like, yeah, I already got like 30, 40 of these underneath my belt. You can kind of just eat that and you can move on with it. And that's like more so a testament to like, okay, you followed the process and then you performed favorably on 39 out of 40 contracts. So the government's
Right.
not gonna look at Patrick's business and be like, yeah, unreliable. And it's like they have 39 other samples to draw from, kind of thing.
Yeah, that and I seen on the modifications what they call it. It
Mhm.
stated on there that the vendor me was trying to purchase the product. The manufacturers state that they only sell to law enforcement. So that's
That's
kind of why.
nice that they put that in the modification for
Yeah,
you.
so when you go to the modification, it sits right there on there. So I'm like,
That's nice.
thank you. But I want to say this though: when I met your dad in November last year, that
Oh,
was my
that's right. Yeah, you did meet him. Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
was my
yeah.
motivation. I ain't gonna lie to you. He motivated the. I'm telling you, like I have a fire lit up under me because of your father. When your father said, "Man, yeah, we
Me
do
too,
about
bro. Me too.
like doing about 50, 60 contracts probably a month easily," and I'm looking and I'm like, man, 50 to 60, like wow. How did you like to get to that point? I was like, well, I got some work to do. So this is all I've been focusing on. I was like, I got to get to this 50. So that's my goal. Like, I don't care if it's 50 contracts for $100. I want 50 contracts in 1 month. So that's my goal. I don't know how
That's
long it's
that.
going to take. It
Listen,
might take a
bro.
couple.
Eventually, you're gonna get to the point where people are just gonna start telling you, "Yo, Patrick, can you do this for us?" Kind of thing. Like we see you out here. People are gonna start coming up to you. So it'll come, bro. It'll come. I always just like to give people I like to give people context. Two Lions Aerospace was around for 5 years before it did business with the government, and then it took 7 years in total to make to make the first million as a company.
Mhm.
I've been playing this game as an entrepreneur since I was 15. I've been doing this for 7 years. This is my fourth business now. It just takes a long time, like way longer than what anybody thinks. So do not get discouraged if you're in year 1, 2, or 3. You can't compare your year 1, 2, or 3 to our year
I don't know. It's just, bro, it's
nine,
just
10.
motivation. it's just
It is, and
motivation.
it's good, good. But
I
for
have a
anybody
target.
watching, I just don't want them to get discouraged and feel like, oh man, I'm in year 2. I'm only doing, and then it's exponential. And then people say your life doesn't change overnight. It really does, but it changes overnight after you've done it for like 9 years, kind of thing.
Right,
There'll be that moment where it just,
There will be that moment where it just happens, and then it's just like a
like 3 or 4
cascade.
moments. It is, yeah.
It's just like a cascade, and you're like, shit, I feel like I made it, kind of thing.
and
It's coming.
even now, like just say that like 6 months in, and like for this year, I'm averaging like 10 contracts a month. Like that's not bad.
It's
Like
not bad, bro. You're killing it. You're killing it, dude.
instead of like looking at it crazy. So like my goal is, and I think I may hit this, but this is my goal. I think I may almost hit maybe a half a meal this year. And it may sound crazy, but
Bro,
I'm on pace.
that's not crazy at
I'm
all.
on pace. I am on pace to
It's
get to
not crazy at all, bro. It's not
It's
crazy.
done, Patrick. It's done. It's done. It's done.
It's
Like,
happening. It's
you
happening.
put it out. Yeah,
It's
you put
happening.
it out. It's done. It's not a goal anymore. It's now it's a standard.
Yeah, that's a bar. Clip
it is.
that.
And like,
Yeah, clip that.
like I said, so like I just want to look, honestly, man, thank you. You don't even know, like, man, this has been a blessing. Like I said, I ain't made no money from it. I don't even care about that part of it right now. The fact that I do what I want to do, I enjoy what I do. And I know that this is a long term play. So I'm so used to
Yeah.
the short term. Like I said, I was a bartender, fast money every day, no, nothing else. But this is a long term play where I can see the outcome. Like I can honestly, from right here today, I can see where
Mhm.
I'm going now. And like it's
Yeah.
so different now. So I just want to say thank you, man. Like
Appreciate it.
I appreciate
Don't
this.
honestly don't thank me. Thank yourself, dude. Thank yourself. You did it. I can show you what to do, but you got to do it. So thank yourself.
I mean, listen to me. Like I remember the conversation. Like I was questioning paying you for the program. You probably don't even remember our first conversation. If you go through your Instagram, you might see it. You'd be like, "Yeah, he was kind of questioning this little couple of grand for this program." But now look at it. You know, like it's time to raise the price. It's time to raise the price, man. Shoot.
So what
Hey,
made you decide to do it anyways then?
um, you convinced me. You did, man. I'm telling you, you convinced me. I was like, I just don't sense any like I didn't sense any game. Like I know when someone's trying to run game, you know, trying to make it, trying to dress it up as some pretty babe, and really it's not. And you didn't do that. You kept it so realistic. You kept it realistic. Hey, a lot of people don't even win a contract or get awarded a contract 5 6 months in. Um, but I did that, and the reconfirmation was going to the Eric Coffee's event where I met your pops.
Oh,
That's
okay.
that's what really set it apart because I met everybody in there is doing like Sam.gov. They're doing services.
Mhm.
Everybody. And I'm only in there. I've only been doing this for about a month and a half, you know. So like I'm wet behind the ears with everything, and man, how people was willing to help, and how everybody told me the same thing. Like, hey, I ain't never know nobody just win 6 bid, get awarded 6 contracts in a month and a half. Like, whatever you're doing, it's working. So
Keep
I'm
doing
like,
it.
yeah, I mean that's what everybody told me. But your dad told me, hey, what old boy say on Wolf of Wall Street? Hey, but those are rookie numbers. You need to pump the numbers up again. So like now that I'm like, okay, I kind of got I got a system kind of set up. Now it will be a lot easier to bid on more bids. So like I say, I
Sweet.
believe my goal probably starting probably next month. I'm gonna probably try to do about 10 to 15 bids a day. By
There you
then, I
go, my
believe I can
man.
find some new product markets to get in. But I'm gonna try to get more vocal in the group. I'm gonna try to
You
get
know
in
what, bro?
there.
Hey, listen, man. Listen, if you're
I
doing
want
your
to help
thing,
people.
then
I want to help
we
people.
did our part. You don't have to get all active in the community if you're working. If you're not winning, then you probably should get more active. But if you're winning, keep doing your damn thing and let us take care of the people who need the extra TLC kind of thing.
man, but I just want to help. That's all. Like I said, because they're not
That's a
gonna stop.
beautiful
Look,
compliment.
the money's there. It's the money's available. So like, you're not gonna take off my plate me helping you. So I just want to help,
Mm.
man. And that's like I said.
I'm
Once
sure.
again, thank
I feel you.
you, Dave, man. Thank y'all for all of this, man. And tell your pops I said hello and that I'm coming for him.
I'll tell him. I'm
Coming
sure he'll be
for him.
thrilled.
Coming for him.
I'm I'm sure he'll be thrilled. Sam, what is the last thing we have on the agenda for this evening?
No, I think we've pretty much covered everything. I don't think I've got much more to really ask. Patrick's just he's stolen the show. He's given us all the insights. So I'm pretty good unless there's anything else that you want to go over there.
If we've run through everything, then I'm good, my man.
Yeah.
I'm really good about it. So,
We've made
thank
pretty
you
good
guys so
time,
much.
so I don't want
Yeah, no worries. The editor will take care of it. But yeah, man, I'm super appreciative that you took the time out of your busy schedule to
Oh, yes.
come and rock with us. So I'm
No,
super
I'm glad.
grateful, man.
I'm grateful that you took time out of your day because I know, dude, you're
to.
doing a whole lot right now. You're trying to, like you said, you got 4 businesses, you got your job being a pilot and everything. So I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to even get me on. But yeah, man, let's try this again in 2 months and see where I'm at.
Let's do it, my man. You're always welcome. You're always welcome around these parts,
Yeah,
my man.
yeah. Let's do this in about 2 months and let's see if I can stay on the pace of this 10. Let's see. Let's just see if I
Let's
can
see what
stay.
happens. If you can double your inputs, let's see what those
I
outputs
know
start.
that's what I'm saying. I just want to see the numbers. I want to see the numbers. But if
Sweet,
there's
sweet.
anything else, man, I want to say, like I said, man, thank y'all. Enjoy y'all day. Your your package is perfect. I don't think you need to add anything.
We
Uh,
will. We will. We're gonna
I
add some
know, I
stuff.
know, I know, I know you will. I mean, there's always room for improvement. But I honestly think that, like we were saying, if people just take their time, just pick one part, focus on one part of it. Don't try to digest this whole meal at one time. It'll gradually come. And like you said, I got 120 days. I love that. That was the best thing that you could ever told us. 120 days.
Mm.
That gives us
I'm glad.
enough
I'm
time
glad
to
that
get
you got something.
everything together.
I'm glad you got something out of value from
Yeah.
it, my man. But thank you guys so much for tuning in and sticking with us all the way until the end. And not only am I looking forward to you guys' success, I'm absolutely sure of it. Let's go print those dollars. Take care, everybody.
Take care.